What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Hunter Starcraft cast. This is going to be a 1 versus 1 matchup today. We have SeleCT, the blue Terran player, at the top right position of Xel Naga Caverns. SeleCT is a Korean player, but he actually competes in lots of North American tournaments, European tournaments. This particular match is off of the European server. SeleCT's opponent is none other than HayprO, a member of Team Liquid, of course. HayprO, certainly known for some very strong performances in recent tournaments. He made it through the qualifying rounds of GSL Season 3, which is actually a pretty extraordinary feat. Not very many foreigners have been able to accomplish that, so, you know, big ups to HayprO for pulling that off. I'm looking forward to his play today. I've got a lot of expectations for this particular Zerg player. Of course, the yellow Zerg tells us it's not going to be a ladder match. This is a European online tournament matchup, and I believe this is actually the last game in the series. So the winner of this particular match wins the series. I haven't seen the rest of the games, at least not all of them. But this should shape up to be a good game. I'm hoping it is for you guys and for myself as well. As you know, this game sort of gets underway, we can get a sense of what builds each player is going for. The SCV for SeleCT making it into the Zerg base very early. He sort of did a bit of a head fake there, spotted the creep, backs away. Maybe, yeah, he's just going to try to block the expansion. As we see two drones coming down, and yeah, it seems like HayprO knows this, so this is going to be a battle. These drones trying to put down an expansion, but SeleCT's SCV here is going to delay this expansion for as long as possible and really annoy HayprO. As we see HayprO's minerals now climbing above 500, HayprO is forced to put down the spawning pool. And wow, look at that. I mean, SeleCT really knew that timing so perfectly. He knew just you know, the right amount of time to block off that hatchery, force the spawning pool, push HayprO off of his game a little bit, and force a different build order. So that's pretty cool play. Good work for SeleCT, as SeleCT now has a second barracks arriving, and because of this second barracks, he is not going to be going for any early gas, which sort of narrows down the number of build orders he could be going for. It tells me he's not going to go for any cloaked banshees, probably not any mechanized play either, at least not in the early game. We have another marine on the way, 2 marines already, and this drone is sort of just taking refuge as an extractor. It's not like SeleCT is desperate for gas right now. I mean, this guy's over here is vacant. So these marines are going to slowly force that drone away. This SCV occupies the Xel Naga tower and certainly sees the Overlord. This is actually a good place for your Overlord. It's just about impossible to hit with marines when you have them hanging out in the middle of that cavern there. The hatchery pops. We have the initial extractor on the way, so we're not going to see Zergling speed out too quickly. We have a spine crawler as well. I do recommend that spine crawler given the situation here, especially because the Zerg player is well aware of the 2 barracks for HayprO. So this is a pretty scary build for the Terran player. Having at least 1 spine down is a good thing, especially because this natural expansion is so wide open. There's lots of room for these marines to micro around, as they are picking up quite a number of Zergling kills. Actually 4 kills on this 1 marine. Looking at the resources lost, it looks like they were all Zerglings except for maybe 1 drone, I suppose. This spine in position. Now, do we have a Zerg player that is going to be doing lots of droning at this stage? It does look like that. 7 drones at this point, as HayprO, yeah, comfortable to drone up really heavily. Going to be saturating both his main and his natural. May want to Maynard some of these drones down to his natural for even mining, but at the same time, that is a little bit risky. You see he's doing it now. He's brought down 5 drones. A little bit risky because, once again, such a wide open expansion. You got 2 big doors here. You got a back door, the destructible rocks as well. Back at the Terran base, he actually already has the command center and is now morphing it into an orbital command. And I actually see Terran players doing this all the time these days on Xel Naga Caverns, where you take a pretty early first expansion and then you use your barracks along with a bunker to really set up a pretty sturdy wall off with, I mean, 2 bunkers here along with a couple barracks. It's a lot of hit points. I mean, if the Zerg wants to put on early pressure, he needs at least Banelings to do it. we're going to have to wait and see what he decides. Moving the Spine Crawler down to this position on the right here. These Zerglings start to go to work on the destructible rocks. Keeping an eye on the production tab, we have Lair Tech on the way and Roach Warren as well. I'm wondering, I mean, it looks like he's going to use the Lair Tech to initially get Roach speed, and then we're going to have to leave it to HayprO to see what kind of tech he's going to get from there, what kind of Lair Tech. Now, a little bit of feigning pressure from our Terran player, and that's always a good little trick as well. One SCV going to scout, just, I mean, it's not going to really spot anything that he didn't already know. He may get the sense that the Zerg player is going to want to take this this basin expansion because it is on the low ground. SeleCT may be realizing that the Zerg player is going to go for a third soon enough. Back at the Terran base, SeleCT is getting an armory. We're going to see if he's going to use that for Thors. He only has one tech lab on his factories right now. He has a second factory as well. Getting the Infernal Pre-Igniter, that blue flame, of course, just going to be able to destroy any Zerglings. The hatchery now going down at the basin expansion. Very nice. It looks like HayprO is going to be securing an economic advantage soon enough. And I'd like to see SeleCT do a little bit of pressure at this point because it's, I mean, going up against Zerg, you know, in a TVZ, you've got to keep the pressure on. You've got to keep your Zerg opponent in check. Auxiliary hatchery, in-base hatchery, going up for HayprO. It doesn't seem like he thinks he's going to have the larva to spend all the income that he will have soon enough. As this third base kicks in shortly, he's going to just have so much money, and he's going to be wanting to get lots of larvae out. How many queens does he have? Looking on the units tab, only 2. I'd like to see another queen from HayprO. I mean, he's got a little bit of creep spread, but of course that can always be improved. 5 Hellions moving out. We're going to keep an eye on them, see how they're doing. See what they're able to do. Takes out the one Zergling at the Xel Naga, which forces all of these Speedlings back. Spire is about halfway complete in the Zerg main base. This Overlord, now that Overlord speed is completed, you're going to get all that valuable scouting information done. It's going to scout the Thor, the armory, the 2 factories as well. But hold that thought. These Hellions are just roasting up Zerglings rather, just absolutely destroying them. Oh my god, that was about 6 drones. We're looking at about 8 drone kills so far in the main base. Taking a look at the units tab, only 39 harvesters for the Zerg player, and that number is dwindling very quickly. These Blue Flame Hellions really paying for themselves. I like the pooping creep in the main base of SeleCT, but I really do need to highlight just how much economic damage the Hellions did. I mean, they came in here and they just killed at least 8 or 10 drones combined. And that Overlord did get taken out. We've got a couple of Thors out. Very immobile units, but absolutely strong anti-air, to say the least. And do we have any mutas on the way? No. So HayprO sacked an Overlord. He saw that Thors were coming and has pretty much opted to leave his Spire, I mean, idling at this point. He doesn't have any air units just yet, and we're going to have to wait and see if that changes. I like that, you know, poop creep down at any base, delay your opponent's expansion as much as possible. To take a look at the upgrades, nothing yet for the infantries. I don't even know, I don't think we even have, oh no, we do have an eBay, but no upgrades just yet. But for the Terran player, he's actually getting vehicle weapons level 2, of course, for the siege tanks and Thors. So we're going to have some pretty heavy mech on the way as the Terran player is continuing to produce out of these 2 factories, actually only getting 1 Thor right now, and it looks like the Terran player SeleCT is now transitioning into very heavy bio play as he's got 5 racks. Going to be producing short enough, and going to morph that into a planetary. That is just about standard on Xel Naga Caverns. You see every Terran player doing that. Roach speed, of course, complete. Lots of tech structures going up, including a Baneling nest and an infestation pit. So I'm excited to see how Liquid.HayprO is going to be using that, you know, infestors and Baneling play in the very near future. We see a supply depot is going to go down here as well. Good idea to sort of keep aware of where your opponent is. That's why he put the supply depot there. You want to keep an eye on that high ground, of course. But we have to focus here. One of the mules got taken out. This building gets canceled. I believe an SCV or 2 got killed as well. And we have to keep an eye at the back door as well of SeleCT's base, as Liquid.HayprO is just continuing to poke, and could easily move over here and take out the supply depot, but I don't think HayprO is aware of that just yet. On the army tab, we have that SeleCT is behind just slightly by about 4 supply. Both players getting a ton of upgrades right now. Infantry upgrades like the stim pack and weapons level 1. And then we actually just had a vehicle level 2 finish for the Terran player. In the Zerg base, we have the Baneling speed on the way. It's going to want to spread that creep even more and faster. I really, once again, wish that we had more queens for HayprO. Spread that creep, make the Baneling speed that much more effective. Vehicle weapons level 3 on the way. Lots of Banelings being morphed. We're getting Hive Tech as well. Very nice, as this game is really starting to kick in at this point. Is the Zerg player going to be supply blocked? Not quite yet. No, it looks like he had quite a supply surplus. Even losing 3 overlords didn't really affect him that much. HayprO still looking to be in a pretty good spot, really getting map control, putting up a 5th base to complement that gold. So we're looking at about 3 base Terran versus 5 base Zerg. Once again, I would like to see SeleCT putting a little bit more pressure on HayprO. I mean, you can see the map control really going to HayprO at this stage. HayprO knows where he's at. Wow, can't speak. But yeah, HayprO knows what's going on. He's got creep down at this 3 o'clock. He's already secured the 9. And yeah, I mean, HayprO is looking to be in a pretty scary position. But just as I'm saying that, SeleCT is setting up for a pretty huge attack here. So HayprO's going to be looking to defend. I don't think he's going to want to counter. We have this gold base for HayprO. It's going to get taken out in a hurry. Is HayprO going to try to counter? He could try to suicide some Banelings and just finish off the planetary, but that's not an easy feat. That hatchery gets taken out, really no problem. The siege tanks as well, controlling the Xel Naga Tower. Going to make it difficult for this type of unit composition to close. Adrenal glands on the way. We have a greater spire as well. And those Banelings getting lots of kills, doing lots of splash damage. It's very difficult for those Marines to micro in this very condensed area. The mineral patches really screwing with the pathing of those Marines. They all get wiped out very quickly. Back on the army tab, we see that SeleCT is leading. Wow, he was leading a second ago, but this macro from HayprO really kicking in. Both players at 165. A very close game at this stage. Still lots of upgrades. Players not getting workers anymore, but we do have 9 Broodlords morphing. Where are those Broodlords at? This is going to be the Hunter Starcraft turning point in the game, as these 9 Broodlords morphing, they are complete, and they are going to put a world of hurt on this Terran army. We have siege tanks in position. Are they going to be able to do enough damage to this hatchery in time? It doesn't look like that. The Broodlord tech has certainly been revealed by now. We have Thors, but Thors are really not the greatest against these heavily armored Broodlords. They only have one, well, they start with 1 armor, but they've got a lot of hit points as well, 225 apiece. And now we have at the 3 o'clock, but it looks like this is going to get cleaned up by the Zerg player. All these Broodlings going to force the Thors back. These Thors have very little hit points left. The Roaches and Banelings make quick work of the Marines. And now SeleCT really forced into a defensive posture. And look at this. Liquid.HayprO. I thought he was going to head those Broodlords to the middle Xel Naga Caverns, but these Vikings actually making quick work of these heavily armored air units. But now we've got Corruptors out. Corruptors pretty scary in the air as well. They start with 2 armor and a lot of hit points as well. They're going to be able to catch these Vikings and do work, but I mean, I want to take a look at the units lost. Actually, the Zerg player has lost far more units, about 5,000 or 4,000 resources worth of units more. So that's a pretty heavy units lost for our Zerg player. These Vikings still doing pretty good work establishing air dominance. We got a lot of Roaches now moving into position, and SeleCT now scrambling. And these Roaches getting a lot of the siege tanks, eliminating them before they were able to siege up. That was looking to be pretty favorable to HayprO, but Thors, of course, especially with +3 weapons, they just do so much damage versus these Roaches. Really really scary unit composition here for our Terran player, but at the same time, scary macro for the Zerg. This base is no longer active, and HayprO now going to go to work on this 9 o'clock hatchery. It does get, oh, it's not going to get taken out. It has 170 hit points left. At the same time, we've got Vikings moving down there. Are they going to bother landing? Just have to wait and see. They are going to land. They're going to avoid the Corruptors. They're going to take out some workers, but Vikings, oh my god, they took out the hatchery. That hatchery had so few hit points left that those Vikings were actually able to hero it in and take it out. This hatchery's been taken out as well. Look at those burrow drones with minerals in their claws. Very nice. Lots of roaches moving into position. Are they going to go for the heart, or are they going to go for the gold? Once again, siege tanks moving up and just not fast enough. They are going to get taken out, but these Thors, again with their +3 weapons against 1/1 roaches, not going to be a favorable exchange for those roaches. These Vikings overhead still proving to be pretty annoying. Now going after the production facilities, but with the very long range of these siege tanks, these roaches really do need to be careful. Stimming up with those Marines, going to try to catch the roaches at the back. At the same time, back at the Zerg base, we have the hatchery going up at the base expansion once again. He's going to want to consider getting that gold up. This 9 o'clock is slowly morphing as well, so this game has slowly but surely shifted in the favor of the Terran players. We see on the supply tab now very heavily favoring the Terran player. SeleCT here really showing excellent multitasking, attacking the up to 3 bases at once, going for the east and west expansions along with this basin expansion down here, really showing us excellent ability to multitask. These roaches are going to be made into mincemeat very quickly. Roach guts everywhere, and this is slowly looking to be like the end for our friend HayprO, as he's desperately trying to stay in this game. The income tab shows equal number of harvesters, but it's still, with those mules, definitely favoring the Terran player. This hatchery gets taken out once again. Really not a lot of defenses left. Getting some roaches in, Zerglings, and now with some roaches up here, gonna catch some siege tanks out of position, but these roaches are retreating. Vikings overhead, very strong Terran presence at all portions of the map, but with this many tanks, with the upgrade advantage as well, 3-0 compared to 1-1, these roaches are not going to last very long. Vikings doing a little overlord hunting. Liquid.HayprO trying to keep on his economic game. Another upgrade for the Terran player, getting no armor upgrades whatsoever. He's going to have +3 infantry soon to complement that +3 mech, and that's it. HayprO calls GG, not surprising at all. It's just at this stage in the game, such dominant map control, and HayprO just lost so many bases repeatedly. We saw so many hatcheries at each of these 4 locations go down at least a number of times. It's actually difficult to keep up with the multitasking of SeleCT as he was, attacking 2 or 3 locations at once. Really cool game. I certainly hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed casting it. Look forward to many more replays. I'm going to be casting them all week, all right? Take it easy, guys. Peace out.